Hi, my name is Ruben Dreiblatt, Editor-in-Chief at Faveeo. In a few moments, you'll be hearing my discussion with Jonathan Karten, founder of the Iftach Group, a consulting group centered around helping Israeli companies in their transition to the U.S. market. Our discussion is part of Faveo's larger project, 20 Ideas for 2020, a special first-of-its-kind bulletin aimed at creating guiding principles for us all to think about as we head into this new decade. The principles are centered around the business verticals of AI and cybersecurity, while also touching upon the future of work. Our first idea went up Monday, December 16th, so check that out if you haven't already. But now, without further ado, I'm pleased to present our second idea for 2020. How can we stay cyber safe as personal civilians? Just yesterday, there was a report of a cyber attack on the Epilepsy Foundation Twitter account. Gifs and videos were sent to people prone to seizures by tagging popular hashtags and the Epilepsy Foundation account itself. Many people had very serious seizures. So what can we do? I mean, that's tragic. That's clearly hacking just for the sake of evil. You know, they're just trying to cause pain and anguish.
Yeah, no, it's not great work. Sometimes people like to wield their power, and the only way they can prove that they have power is by doing unnecessarily creative destruction. Listen, I'm not going to say become a hermit, put the tapes over all of the cameras in the house, don't use the internet, don't put it on. You're going to have to.
Yeah, I agree.
The way the world is working nowadays, and China's a perfect example of this, everything is digitized. And if it's not, then you're not in the competitive market. Going forward, we're going to have to work on this on a psychological level, I think. I think that we have rising rates of depression in the millennial rate, and within the millennials, and specifically with the Gen Z generation who's never lived without technology.
Grew up with an iPad in their hand.
It's very possible that this is because of comparing yourself to a lot more people than we normally could in the prior day. I mean, I remember when we were younger, we wanted to meet at the park, you'd meet up at 6:30, you went there at 6:30, either you died, right? Or you're no longer talking to that person anymore. Like, there's no way to call them. Like, you could, but you're 6, 7 years old.
Right.
And you all know Harari actually talks about this in his book, Homo Sapiens. He says, and he conjectures, that the rise of technology is directly correlated to the rise of depression. And just to bring it back to our point and back to your question, I think that the way we treat cyber safety has to be in the way we treat all criminality. And there's one way, which is negative reinforcement, punishing it, going after it, and that's very expensive, especially in this vertical. The other way, I think, is positive reinforcement. I think that's just creating a better society as a whole, where people aren't I guess motivated to do crime in general. Cybersecurity being a faction of that, of all crime.
So do you see a new digital platform that is more bent on creating a more equitable society online, or do you just see top-down policy coming down to improve?
I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, I think it doesn't have to come bottom up and top down as well. Remember those commercials when we were kids, like "Don't smoke." Your parents will never, like, whatever. Like,
I mean, I think back to the war on drugs, you know, the egg frying on the thing, this is your brain on drugs. But, I mean, that's more negative reinforcement, and the war on drugs is famous for not working. I mean, we've imprisoned.
But the
this
rates
is America speaking.
The rates of smokers, is nicotine, I'm talking cigarettes.
Wasn't the lowest it was in the 90s.
And not compared to the rest of the world, specifically, you know, Europe.
It dropped a lot.
Yeah, and relatively speaking, we're doing pretty well there. I don't think that was because we started, you know, banning cigarettes within certain hours of the day, or putting a prohibition laws on cigarettes. I think it's because what we did was we compared the smoking of cigarettes to some sort of, like, I wouldn't say low life, but I would say an unfavorable role in society. Those who see smoking immediately associate not with you know, cool gangsters from the 1920s, although they fucking look cool, I'm not gonna lie. But people, so basically you
not Hollywood.
You make it socially taboo. People who are black hat hatters, if they're not doing it for financial reasons, and because, listen, you can make a phenomenal amount of money stealing it,
Sure.
but you can make an equally good amount of money doing the other side,
Right.
using the same skills, and also not
Creating
having your
that.
ass on the line.
Right,
Excuse
right.
my French.
And improving society.
And improving society, right? But I'm talking strictly from like
It's a nice kicker.
a person who doesn't...
Right. If they're just
Right.
doing
If
it
they're already
for the sake
committing
of
the crimes to
doing
begin
it,
with,
they don't care.
Yeah,
about that,
not too much at least.
Right,
At least they care more about their immediate circle.
Yes,
We
exactly.
have to allow these individuals to be valued in society, and become, I guess, not famous, but rather respected, much like lawyers or doctors are.
Sure.
They take a Hippocratic oath
Right.
after they finish their studies, which is weird because majority of the time you don't actually need a degree to be a hacker.
Right,
You-
why not?
you-
Yeah,
you do-
self-taught,
it's
something
exactly,
like that, yeah.
exactly. But if we're able to instantiate an actual department in the computer science,
Mainstream hacking.
mainstream hacking,
Taking out of the basement.
exactly,
Yeah.
you legalize, you mainstream it, and you make it a profession that you can get a degree with, that you take the Hippocratic oath when you go under.
Sure.
And obviously you still have doctors who are negligent and who break the Hippocratic oath time and time again, but if they do by far do they
Right.
lose face.
Right.
So I think that's
That's
the
a great
solution.
idea.
Yeah.
I guess that's like cyber cops, but they don't just have to be cops. They
Right,
can do a lot. They can do a lot
respected
more than
members
that.
of society, such that they don't need to
Right.
show their power in different.
And different, right?
Yeah.
And dangerous.
Think like the first
ways.
people, the first chemists or the first psychiatrists. They could have created a variety of different biochemical weapons.
Right.
You know, and then equally shown with much more detriment than they have in
Right.
so on wars and so on and so forth. But
Right.
it's not to the same extent as hacking, prevalent as hacking.
And some of those scientists who were shamed ended up creating things for evil, whereas some who were encouraged, created for good. If we had demonized science as witchcraft and other things like that, it may have not turned out this.
I mean, we did that actually for a while.
That's and in certain circles we certainly did. And it was alchemy and all that, but we won't go down that road today.